it's Antia Boyd
and Boyd.
And we're the creators of the Magnetize The Man Summit. So really excited for you to jump right into the next interview because we have created this for you to stop attracting emotionally unavailable men, overcome your trust issue, and so much more, so you attract that right man for you that makes you feel seen, cherished, and supported.
Can't wait to see you inside the interview and get you on the path to magnetizing your man once and for all. See you there. Look forward to it.
Mwah! Hey ladies, it's Antia Boyd, your fearless leader of the Magnetize The Man Summit. And we're single, successful women, crack the attraction code, and live their happily ever after. And today we are going to learn, of course, the magical formula to attraction by the lovely Kim Seltzer. So say hi, Kim.
Hi. Well, I love this topic, right? Like, you didn't have to twist my arm coming on to talk about this.
I love it so much. And ladies, Kim is quite amazing with a vast of knowledge and experience as a therapist, certified style coach, dating coach, and matchmaker. She's helped hundreds of people find lasting love and connection and build valuable relationships using her unique confidence makeover process. Using an outside-in approach, not inside out, Kim has changed hundreds of lives by changing their style, emotional and social intelligence, using her signature formula, the charisma quotient, working on body language, first impressions, image and messaging, and how it impacts attraction. This Los Angeles-based expert travels the country helping people discover confidence, charisma, and connection as a speaker at national matchmaking conferences, eHarmony, Neutrogena, and iDate, as well as her own annual conference series for men and women, The Makeover Blueprint. Kim is also a regular contributor to the Huffington Post and digitalromance.com, with appearances in Cosmopolitan, Red Book, Reader's Digest, Ask Men, Fox News Magazine, Yahoo Shine, and the Washington Examiner, among a myriad of other publications. You can also find Kim as a frequent host on the podcast, The Jordan Harbinger Show, with Jordan Harbinger, as well as the past episodes on the traveling live dating show, The Great Love Debate, and in her new cable reality dating show, The Romance. You can also listen to her now on her own podcast, The Charisma Quotient. All right, lots of places to get in touch with you. All right, Kim.
I know. Well, it's funny. I always chuckle when people read my bio back, and I'm like listening to my bio, because really, and we'll get into this, but really why I'm so passionate about doing what I do is because of my own story, my own personal journey. And, I always say we're our own best teachers, right? And sometimes we have things happen to us where we're able to get through it and then teach others. And honestly, that's really where my passion began and the story began, and all the rest that you heard kind of came from that. So
wow,
it's good to be here to talk about this.
So tell the women a little bit about where you were, or why are you so passionate about going from therapist to being a style expert? I mean, you have like a very unique marriage of of certifications.
Well, yeah, it's funny because you highlighted that part where I work from the outside in rather than the inside out, and most people do. And honestly, if you were to ask me about 20 years ago, I would have thought you were nuts to say, what, from the outside in? Working as a traditional therapist, I helped many people through the talking therapy route and all that. But again, I'll try to make this like long story a little bit shorter, but it is important. And what I'm about to share with you today is that I kind of led this traditional life way back then, acting as a therapist. I was married. I had a couple kids, a dog, even the picket fence, and everything was going as planned, right? Until one day we all picked up and we moved here to La La Land. And I always joke we did what all the other people here did, and that is get a divorce. And obviously there were a lot more going on to the story than that. But it is truly when the record stopped. That road that I was heading down, that trajectory that I thought my life was, just completely stopped. And I didn't know how I was going to get out of my own way. And you know, it's funny because back then I had a great support system. I mean, I had a lot of friends, and I went to counseling and therapy and everything that I was supposed to do, that I even taught right before this all happened to me. But I still couldn't get out of my own way. And it was only until this pivotal moment in my life is when everything changed. One day I looked in the mirror, and I got to tell you, I did not like what I saw. Like I saw this very sad girl with oversized black clothes that I was hiding in, and Birkenstocks, and I still had my nursing bras on, even though I wasn't pregnant any longer. But it reflected how I felt, right?
Yeah.
And so I really I hated the way I looked so much that I went shopping that day. And I remember going to the department store, and I'm pulling all of the black clothes again, of course, and all the sizes that were 3 sizes too big again. And this woman was obviously watching me, who was a personal shopper. And I go into the dressing room, and there's a knock on the door. And she's like, "Excuse me, ma'am, I was wondering if you wanted to try on this." And she holds up a red dress. And I said, "Well, that's really sweet of you, but that is not my size, and that's certainly not my color." She said, "Honey, that is your size, and that is your color. Try it on." So I took it, I begrudgingly put it on, I twirled around like Cinderella, and I looked in the mirror again, and oh my God, gosh darn it, she was right. Like, I saw before me a very different girl. In fact, I saw a woman. I thought of myself as a little girl at that time because of the confidence that really, I was a confident person, but when this whole thing happened, I became like almost this little girl, curled up, not confident any longer.
Yeah.
It wasn't until I got that red dress on that I saw myself differently. And I literally had to feel something different. And it was like a visceral experience. And I walked out into the world in that costume, because at the time I felt like it was a costume until I embraced it. And all of a sudden, my confidence started growing because people started noticing me, and I started feeling more comfortable in my body and my skin. And because of that, I put out. So what you put out is what you get back. And this is what I teach today. And it was really that moment that everything shifted in what I teach today. So after that, so much magic happened. After that is the bio you heard, basically, is going down that road. But I really believe that so much of how we feel about ourselves is a perception, right? It's what we look in the mirror. It's the way that we flirt or not flirt. It's the way that we carry ourselves in our clothes, and so the inner and the outer have this symbiotic relationship. And I truly believe that that's the key to people's confidence and then attracting love.
So let's talk about the flirting piece, right? Which is like, that's kind of like the inside beaming, because I've seen you at the Great Love Debate, and I just love how you talk about flirting. So what are some good tips that you can tell women who are either terrified or feel kind of insecure with flirting?
Well, that was me, first of all. After I was coming out, and then I had to flirt with men, I thought they were aliens at the time, and I was like, oh my God, the fear that would creep up, and I would start getting in my head. And again, it goes back to how I felt about myself. And this is really what I teach. So what I want to share with you is that a lot of times it's the way that we think about flirting. It's the way we define it. What's interesting about flirting, if you look at the dictionary, flirting is defined as to behave as though you are attracted to someone without the serious intention of an outcome. Now, it's fascinating. If you think about it, that last part of the sentence, without the serious intention of an outcome, is what trips most people up.
Yeah.
Right? Because they're thinking about the outcome, but that's not what flirting is supposed to be about. It's supposed to be about, being in the moment, creating an energy, being playful, having fun, and not worrying about what the next step is, but it's just really being in that moment. But, obviously, well, you know me from the Great Love Debate, I do all these talks, and I ask people, what is their excuse for not flirting? And I've heard everything under the sun. I've heard everything from, well, I'm not good at it. I don't want to give the guy the wrong impression. I feel silly. I only will turn it on to guys that I find attractive or cute. Why would I like give somebody a message like that when I'm not attracted to them? Like, I've heard it all. But a lot of times we stop ourselves because of fear, right? It's because of what we think that other person, it's the outcome. We're already predicting, rather than just creating this magnetic energy to draw people to you, because so much happens from that. You know, when I coach people live, I do these wing girl sessions, right? We go out and about and we flirt and we have fun, and I'm looking at their body language and all that. Half the time my clients meet people while I'm coaching. Why? Not because I planted these guys. It's because, and many women think I do. I'm like, I don't know that many guys. It's because we're creating this energy and my clients are able to let go of the outcome and just be. And so all this magic starts happening. And here's the thing I want to say. This is kind of a thing that a lot of people don't think about. It's not always the person you're talking to that's the target. It could be the guy in the corner watching you. It could be a friend of the person that you're talking to. But if you just focus on creating like connections and magnetism with people, everything and anything can happen. And I've seen it over and over. I have countless stories of people meeting people that way when they let go of all that.
Oh my gosh, I love that so much. And you know, there's really something to be said because letting go of the outcome. And you always say commit to the process and detach from the outcome, right? And what is like a first good action step that was just like, you know, Kim, this all sounds really great, you know, but if I'm out and about, like what can I actually start doing that kind of gets me out of my, you know, hesitation and being stuck in my mind and just, you know, playing with my feminine energy and just feeling safe with it and feeling confident with it.
Well, you know, and this is the, you know, I'll put my therapist hat on for just a second, is that this is where I like to kind of check in with people, right? It's like for all of you, you can do this even with yourself. It's like thinking about what flirting means to you. You know, define it for yourself. That's the first thing. You know, is it something that's highly sexualized? Is it something that's scary? Were you given messages growing up that you're not supposed to do that, or it's dirty, or, you know, whatever it is? Because usually we have associations with what we think flirting is about. So in order to push past some of these fears or anxiety around it, I think you first have to address what is tripping you up. You know, what is tied to the past and what are the gremlins that are creeping up with that? You know, then it's kind of moving into, okay, and this is why, you know, you talked about in my bio, I use like kind of a confidence process, is that I believe confidence has to do with exposure, right? If we're not exposed to something, that's when we're not feeling confident. You know, it's experience. So if you haven't done flirting, or if you haven't been exposed to it in a way that, you know, we're telling you to do, then it's going to be anxiety provoking, right? It's like walking into a job for the first time and you've never done it before. How do you get better at it? You keep going, right? So it just takes that first step, you know, going out with maybe one good wing gal friend. And believe me, the person you're with is just as important as you, like, having the mindset for it too. Like a Debbie Downer, if you have, you know, a woman who's like monopolizing and wants the attention herself, that's not going to be good for you, especially if you have anxiety around flirting. So think about, are you going to go by yourself? Are you going to go with a wing girl? And just start going into environments where there's a lot of men. The third step I would say is then start practicing with your body language. And what I mean by that is making eye contact, smiling. I can't tell you, and you know that Brian Howie and I talk about this a lot, the resting bitch face is real, okay? We do, I'm trying to eradicate it as much as I can. It's kind of an epidemic, and it's not something intentional that we're doing. It's not that we're really a bitch, so to speak. We're just so in our heads, and I think we don't realize that our fear or our thoughts have something written on our face, you know? And so what we're portraying outwards is this kind of serious look. Well, guys see that and they're not going to approach you because ladies, they're more scared of us than we are of them. I'll just tell you that because I work with men as well. And they always tell me, you know, if a woman isn't approachable, I'm not going to approach her. They don't want to be rejected. So you have to make eye contact and smile and just practice that, right? So it's, you know, having somebody that you feel comfortable with, defining it for yourself, and start practicing with just your nonverbals. And then from there, you can start making conversation and getting your own kind of flirting style.
Yeah, and I love that we talk about finding your own flirting style. Can you say more about that? What you know, because of the woman's like, I don't know what you're talking about. I mean, flirting is flirting, but what are the different styles, and how do I know, or how do I begin to understand what could possibly be mine?
No, there's definitely different styles. And in fact, that's another thing that a lot of women say. They'll watch a friend who is like really sexual and over the top, and they're like, I'm not like that. You know, most people aren't, and that doesn't have to be. So I always say, you know, everybody has a different style. And I know, like for my case, when I first went out and started practicing flirting, I got myself a good set of wing gals, and we all would do this. We would practice, but what I noticed is that each of my friends had a different style. You know, one girl, she would do the hair twirling, and she would be the googly eyes, and she would go in, and she would be that girl. You know what? Great for her. She owned it. She was comfortable in it. Therefore, she attracted it, right? It's all what you're comfortable with. Another girl, she did it all with her eyes. She was able to look just at a guy across the way, hold down the stair, look down, look up again.
Wow.
I was right there, right? I thought it was magic. I'm like, how did you do that? But, you know, for her, that's what was her comfort level. She wasn't as comfortable like talking. So she did it more with her eyes. Another girlfriend, she did it with her sense of humor. And she was kind of coy and witty, and she would flirt and be a little bit cute and funny, and guys would love it. So for me, what happened is I took bits and pieces that was more me and my personality and what I was comfortable with, and made it my own. So it could be watching Friends. It could be even watching movies, different celebrities, you know, iconic scenes that have, you know, women capturing men. Notice what they're doing and what is it that you could try, that you could do. You know, it's really experimenting. And if you don't take this so seriously and you look at it more as an experience and an experiment, it'll be so much easier. You know, I think so many women, they put pressure on themselves, like this intense thing that they have to do. It could be as much as giggling and smiling, and maybe that's your comfort zone. But whatever it is, think about not being attached to the outcome and just do it. Get exposure and see what it's like to have male energy around you and embrace it.
Yeah, and I love that so much. And what comes up for me, you know, right away, like knowing the women that come to me, it's like they can be in that space of the unknown, because after you throw that flirtatious look or you say that flirtatious joke or whatever it is, like after that, it's kind of like the train has left the station, right? So you're kind of committed, you're in the process, you can't take it back. So what do you tell women to just be confident after they say something and not like chuckle nervously or take it back or walk backward, right? Like, because you know those kind of women who are like, they kind of flirt, but then they immediately go into defense mode and their body language goes into defense mode. And versus like staying open after they say something or after they're smiling.
Well, I think there's different categories of women with that. And then I know exactly what you're talking about. I think often, and I hear this a lot, is that if they're not attracted to a guy, they have no problem flirting, you know, because there's no attachment to it whatsoever. They don't care about it.
Yeah.
But when they get around a guy they really like, they get flustered and then they'll freeze, okay? And there's some women who freeze or retract because they're not confident within themselves and they're getting in their head too much. And they're getting, again, they're thinking too much about the outcome rather than in the present and just being, okay? So there's so much, you know, there was a woman I was working with, and I'll give you an example. She hired me to help her, you know, with the flirting, definitely, and just meeting men when she was out and about, when she was networking, but also to improve how she was on a date because she wasn't getting asked out.
Mm-hmm.
And ladies, let me tell you, this is why flirting is so important. Guys are really simple, right? They need smoke signals to know that you're interested in them. And so if you don't give any kind of signal that you want to see them again, that you are attracted to them, they'll be scared to ask you out. And so I've seen this happen over and over again. You know, when women think, oh, well, I thought I was obvious. They weren't at all because the guy didn't get it. So this one woman, that's what was happening to her. And we went to this one hotel bar and we're looking inside, and I have this whole social engagement formula that I teach people to move conversations from just facts into how to make a connection with men, and then also cranking it up. And so it's a formula that I teach people. It's really effective. But the first step is to just observe and see who's in your energy, who's around you, and where you position yourself so that you can have good conversation. So and these guys are looking at the screen and they're drinking and they're having fun, but she said, oh, well, we can't go in there and talk to those guys. I mean, they were age appropriate. They looked like they were having fun. I said,
right.
Why
not?
Why wouldn't you go in there? Yeah. Right. She said, because they look busy and I don't want to interrupt them. And plus there's nowhere to sit. I said, well, first of all, you're worrying too much about what they're doing and what you think they're thinking rather than what you want.
Right.
And she just kind of said, oh, you're right. What did you hire me to do? She's like, I want to talk to guys. I said, so is that what you want? She's like, yeah. I said, then let's go. She's like, okay. So we go in, and I didn't care that there wasn't any stools. I just kind of stood right by them. And all I said was hi, and I smiled, and I said, cheers, happy Friday. That's all I did. And they like almost were stunned because, by the way, ladies, guys are stunned when women actually, say hello to them. And such nice guys, amazing. And what was so funny is they were very kind of subdued, but very wealthy guys. And they bought us drinks and we had an amazing time. We got asked to this party later on at this big mansion. My client thought I planted that guy. I remember that specifically. I said, no, I don't know this guy. And it was a big lesson for her. Now, had she been by herself and just worried about them watching the game, that never would have happened. So that's the kind of stuff that I'm talking about. It's not worrying and predicting and assuming, it's being, and it's going after what you want. And the better you'll get at it is when you practice it. So if you feel like you'll still be anxious doing it, you got to force yourself to do it over and over and over again. And you'll see it's not as big in your head than you're making it, because it's always bigger in our head than it actually really is.
Well, I love that you brought that. And can you talk more about like the success story that you had, how she was able to attract the right man for her after working with you, and maybe even somebody who was like a social wallflower or something like that, who was not really like outgoing at all?
Oh my God, well, I have a perfect example because it's a beautiful ending to the story that's actually hot off the press. So this woman, she hired me. Actually, she got my name from her doctor because I supposedly helped somebody that he had in his patient. I didn't even know who this was.
It's so funny.
It was like a beautiful story, yeah. And so she kept my name for a year. She wasn't ready. And when she was finally ready, she calls me up. And this is exactly what was happening, is that she wasn't getting a lot of dates, and that the guys she was attracting were all narcissists and bad, unhealthy relationships. And she wasn't able to really have like intimate connections with men overall. She really had a hard time with flirting, putting herself out there, dressing in a way that would attract a guy, and all of those things. So we started with an in-person experience, and then we did follow-up phone coaching, which is a popular package. And it was like a light bulb went off when we worked together. She had no clue how she was coming across, how she was preventing herself from finding love based on how she was communicating, based on her body language, how she was thing, how she was showing up. And so we worked on all these things, right? And I will say I give homework, and she did her homework, and you know, my homework's kind of fun. So I had her going out and put her on a dating regimen, going out a ton in person, a ton online, rounding out the dating portfolio, if you will, just like a financial portfolio. You got to diversify. And after working together, would you know, she landed this great guy, and she dated up a storm. She landed this great guy. She got engaged, and I am invited to her wedding in a month.
Ah, yay! See, the happy ending,
It
right?
all started with flirting. I kid you not. It all started from the outside. You know, she had done a lot of inner work before working, but things were not coming together for her. And there were a lot of things that were showing up on the outside that were roadblocks inside.
Yeah.
I had to start outward and then go inward for it all to synthesize. So
That's beautiful. So we learned so much today about how to get out of our head when we get into flirting. And so if the women are like, gosh, I really want to get to know Kim more and her work and what she's doing and the formula and everything like that, what do you have to offer for them, Kim?
Oh my God. Well, you know, we didn't really even dive into the whole fashion portion, because that is part of your presentation. It is part of flirting and showing up in the best version of you, and of getting like clothes that are date outfits rather than your corporate outfits. And so one of the first steps that I teach people, even with flirting, is to get a great dating image. And part of that is knowing what clothes to put on your body, know what clothes men find, attractive, and knowing your body type. So I have a free body shape guide that will go over, how to measure yourself, so you know what body type you are. There are 5 body types. And then I go into, once you figure out your body type, what clothes flatter your figure and what clothes to stay away from. So it's a great first step into, just like my red dress moment, getting into a different, state of mind, so that you can go out there in your red dress and flirt like heck. And then also, if you download it, I give a free, kind of like a little discount to my virtual makeover. And it's super fun. It's an hour session like we're doing right now. And we go over your body type and all the stuff that we can get into the nitty gritty more specifically with your brands that you should wear and all of that. So take advantage.
So great. Well, thank you for this generous gift. And ladies, I know for so many women that I've worked with, it has really made a difference to do some sort of makeover, because you have to know what you're wearing going on dates. It does, within 10, 15 seconds, we make split decisions about 7 different levels of humans. So it's definitely something you want to really, really acquaint yourself in a much, much deeper level with. So thank you so much for being here today, Kim, and sharing all your flirty wisdom, your flirty fairy godmother, you. And
anytime. Thank you for having me.
Oh, so much. All right, ladies, and I'll see you next time. Take care. Was that absolutely delicious? We just love how every single expert has those juicy pieces of wisdom for you to enjoy. Look, if you want to own the entire Magnetize the Man series, we invite you to get our Magnetize the Man VIP All Access package. Not only will you own the entire video series, but also you will get our Magnetize the Man Masterclass that teaches you the 3-step formula, step by step, on how to attract the right man for you. You also get some other juicy secret trainings and a one-on-one call with me where we personalize your individual journey to attract that right man for you as soon as possible. So look, to get that, click the link below that says get access now, and you get it all. Own the entire series, including all the juicy bonuses, well worth over $1,400 for nearly the fraction of the cost. All right, we will see you in the next interview.
See you soon.
Bye.
Bye.
Mwah.
Mwah.